Maksym Gryshchenko, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's been a long time. I've been waiting 2 years for this, Max.
Yes, yes,
Hey,
yes.
finally, and I have you here.
Well, all good things come when you wait a little bit longer.
That is very true. But hey, Max, coming at us live from your offices in Reykjavik, I would assume, or
It's in Reykjavik, yes, CCP Games. I'm in Reykjavik. Right now I'm in home office because
okay,
you
yeah.
asked me to have a quiet environment and we have it here.
Nice.
So yeah.
Before we get to what you do at CCP, tell us a bit
Yeah.
about CCP because a lot of those that are listening right now have heard of Eve online, and they've maybe heard of CCP. Not a lot of people connect those two per se. So give us a quick intro to the company and Eve online as well per se.
So CCP stands for Crowd Control Productions, is an Icelandic gaming company and Icelandic game company from Reykjavik. And one of the biggest things that is still kicking there is EVE Online. And if you guys are into IT, you probably saw some news regarding EVE Online, like a huge battle, multiple thousands dollars lost of ships, We've been there for 20 years. We had some sidekicks of other games, like Dust 504, which was a shooter on PlayStation, which was connected to EVE Online. So you could request an orbital strike in that game and somebody would execute it in EVE Online. And and I'm responsible. I'm a security analyst, but I'm not information security. I'm not InfoSec. I'm a security analyst in EVE Online, and a better description would be game integrity specialist. So together, me and with my colleagues, we're taking care of stuff like botting, hacking, credit card fraud, and it all connects. All those three things are connected to real money trade. And that is what we're fighting with constantly. So to a little bit give an explanation, why is this? Why are we doing this, right? I mean, cheaters, catching cheaters, that is every gaming company's responsibility. You have Overwatch, for example. You have Counter-Strike. You have multiple games from multiple companies, and they're trying to catch the cheaters. We're also doing that, but it's a little bit more complicated because in EVE Online, a game that has been now 20 years, you have free economy. Let me just spend 1 minute to explain that so it all clicks then together. Free economy means that everything that you can buy on the market in the game is player produced. So somebody actually went, mined the minerals to forge a module or a ship. You as a player can choose to play it for free. That is the alpha clone state. That means you can play it to some extent, like the progression of your character will stop at some point, but you can still do some stuff in the game. Or you can pay some money, pay a subscription, get the Omega clone, which will accelerate the development of your character. You can learn faster the skills to fly a ship, you can fly different ships, and so on. But there's one item that is being sold by us. That is called the Plex. So if, for example, you have the skills already in the game and you want that fancy ship, but you don't have the game currency called ISK, interstellar credits, you don't have that game currency to actually, and you don't have the time because you're busy man, right? You cannot be playing the game 8 hours, 10, 12 hours a day to generate the ISK. What you can buy is a Plex. You buy 500 Plex, and you get this item and you can place it on the market. Somebody who has the time and has the credits can buy this item, activate it, and get 30 days of Omega game time. So this is the best of two worlds. People who have the money, they just simply buy the Omega from us, the subscription, and if they need some more interstellar credits, they can buy this item, place it on the market, get the money, get the credits from somebody who earned it. And if you have the time in the game and you have the credits, you don't need to spend real money. You just simply buy it off the market and that's it. And this is where we come to with the game integrity. Because like this, we never connect the ships, the modules, or, in those battles that you saw in the news, like so many thousands of dollars are destroyed. We never do that, but our players do. Because they can calculate how much does a ship cost, how many Plex that is, and what is the official price of the Plex? So much. And because of that, because of the free economy that is driven by the players, we need to protect it. We are looking at the botters who, would be online 24/7 doing the same thing over and over, producing the ISK, producing the interstellar credits in the game. Then you have the credit card fraudsters, money laundering. They're doing money laundering. They buy the items from us with their stolen credit cards, put it on the market, or they sell it on the market, that get the currency and offer this currency on third-party auction sites, And if you just simply Google EVE Online ISK, you get so many results where you can buy it, right? And then you have the hackers who are there to just simply go and find accounts with the matching passwords, log in, and just strip everything that that player or character has. Sell all the ships, sell all the items that are in possession, extract all the skill points that somebody invested months, years, skilling. Sell it on the market, get the currency, and again offer it on a auction sites, on a third-party auction sites. And these three things, botting, credit card, and hacking, is all connected with real money trade. And this is where where me and my team security members are fighting constantly, where Einar is responsible for credit card fraud, CCP Grimmy, I'm CCP Stinger, I'm responsible for botting. So it's kind of like taking care of cheaters, right? But a little bit more advanced, I would say.
It's not just the game, right?
It's not just the game. Yeah.
That's the big thing. And I've just a quick question for you, like the scale of EVE. I was watching some fun facts about EVE on YouTube right before I got on this, and it's like 7,800 different what they call them, star systems,
solar systems. Yes.
Yeah. How many people play it? And like if you just had to take like a guess, like how much money is actually in circulation, like in that economy?
Very, very difficult. Very difficult to say. Like I cannot. I'm not even gonna try to say the number because I'm gonna be
So
completely off. Yeah,
But
completely
it's big,
off.
right?
It's big. For example, one of the tasks was handed to team security over the summer is to take a look at the biggest players, wealthiest players, who have a lot of plaques, in their accounts. And I pulled the lists out and I started looking at different like top 50 here, top 50 there, because the plaques can be either in your inventory, it can be on account, or it can be in the market, And I was looking at those and I'm like looking at one and he has over $200,000, approximately just over $200,000 in his possession in a game currency, But that is biggest players, Those players, they are not playing alone. They have alliances, the war fleets, like biggest alliances. They always try to claim new territory. They always try to defend their territory. So that is a lot of in-game currency, and that is spent just simply on the war machine, like building those super capitals, those expensive ships, assigning those ships to your fleet members to defend the territory. So if one player has so much money in the game, or let's say the leader of the alliance has so much money in the game, I cannot summarize what is in the game and how much that is worth. That would be just super crazy.
But the point is, a lot of money, a lot of people, using real money to have these sort of alliances and do fun stuff, go up and battle together. But that's why you have a serious, I would assume that's why they pay for a man like you and your team to actually, combat the bots and all these sort of things. Because there's
combat the bots.
Yeah.
Because if nobody is gonna be taking care of that, it's just a matter of time until that currency, the in-game currency, interstellar credits, is just gonna be, inflation, devalued. Because there would be just simply a lot of accounts run by bots 24/7 who would be generating per day a lot of currency. You can generate this currency by, killing NPCs, just simply non-player characters, killing them, and you get bounty for them, And if we just imagine that there would be an infestation of bots, those players who will actually go out and kill those, the reward would be little compared to what those bots are making, like in terms of It's just gonna be like a normal devaluation of the krona.
Hmm.
Of the not
The
krona, sorry,
ISK.
ISK,
Is yeah.
exactly. Yeah. No, we have now also like here in the real world, our currency is Icelandic krona, and there's news constantly about the central bank raising the interest rates
Interest
to
rates. Yeah.
combat inflation. So I'm kind of like,
You're fighting bots
but yeah,
instead.
yeah. That is the problem, because they would be generating a lot of credits on a daily basis, and of course, everything that the players would be owning would lose in the value, because in circulation there's just more currency going around.
Right. And when it comes to bots, I'm kind of familiar with bots from another episode that I had a while ago. But that was yeah. What does bots mean in your specific in a game sense?
Well, there's three different stages. Let's start with a simple one. You're a player, right?
Yeah.
And you are grinding your way through the game. But because you're a player, you don't have much time. Either you have school or university, or you have a family. So you can spend like 1 or 2 hours per day, let's say tops maximum, right? But to get the credits, you need to grind sometimes. You need to do things. So a player would actually go online in Google, type in if online bot, and would find the bot software. I mean, it's available there on the internet in Google, and would install it. And when the player is not actively playing, he would run it for a couple of hours a day, to maximize his profits. And that is what we're combating, one of the things. Another thing is organized bot farms. Those are organizations who are in the game just simply creating accounts, not having meaningful development of their characters or meaningful gameplay, who just immediately start doing one specific thing, one specific gameplay aspect over and over and over, to generate this currency that then they transfer to another account, to another character in the game, kind of like try to hide it, and then they sell it on third-party auction sites, So, and the biggest fight that we have right now is with those organized bot farms, because there are super many of them, and they constantly are trying to, get on our server, get on our Tranquility server, and do this. And this is my task on a daily basis to check. And we just had, like, in the last 2 weeks of August, there was another organized bot farm jumping on our server on TQ, Tranquility, and starting doing the same thing over and over and over. And when I looked at the data that I pull from our database, and I look at the data, you can see clearly, immediately, that is them. For example, one account that is created to bot is associated only with one computer. And that computer and that account, they will pop up once. They will pop up. And if we take care of that, we suspend the account, that computer is not going to appear again. Because they're using something like server-like with virtual machines on it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we take a batch of accounts and we deal with them, we suspend them from the game, we ban their assets out of the game, right? They can set up new ones very fast. They can set up new virtual machines very fast, because I think to some extent they even have a snapshot saved, with the operation system and with the game client. So, and yeah, organized. They are very organized, especially like if we start looking at specifics like IP. They're all using VPNs. But again, you would think like, okay, I'm running all these virtual machines on one network, right? Which would make the detectability a bit easier for us. No, every machine has its own VPN, and it's all around the place. So they're making it super hard for us to find them. But when we find them, and we identify the pattern, how they're exactly doing it, what exactly they're doing it, then it's just simply monitor on daily basis for that pattern, and then when you find it, suspend them.
Can you automate that, or is that a manual job?
Well, automation, we have some systems in place where we get the raw data, right? And you could actually pipe this data into an AI model or something that is automized that would give you the results back. Like, yeah, this is a bot, this is not a bot, and so on and so on and so on. So maybe something for the future to look into, because everything is in place actually, but still, I still think that we would use it only to get a report, and there would still be somebody pressing the actual button. I don't think we'll go for something that is automated, that can do its own decisions, because maybe sometimes they would be wrong.
Oh, and that would be the end of Eve.
Not would be the end of Eve, but some players is gonna be very, very unhappy. And
Of course.
When it comes to my responsibilities, how I do things, I don't ban or suspend first and then ask questions later. I try to, I look at things and I try to find out, if this is actually a player, because I don't want to suspend an actual player, an actual customer of the company, for something that just is wrongly interpreted.
So and this can apply to Eve or any other video game, like create a bot. I understand that bot is just a code that makes something do something.
Yes.
Where do they put that code to make it happen in the real, in the video game? Do they just inject it into the code? Like, how does that happen?
There is a client injection. That was a method that was very, how do you call it? Very favorite a couple of years ago. So you just simply inject the code into the client. So you tell the client what to do, and that then goes into the server, and that matches it. A simple thing is a graphical bot. Just simply a software that counts the pixels and knows where to press and knows what to do. There was a great example published on Russian What do you call the site again where you publish code? GitHub.
GitHub,
Right.
yeah.
Somebody published his not the whole bot, not the whole code, but somebody wrote in Russian a very nice article how he saw the challenges of what he wanted to do in the game and how he solved those challenges, like launching drones, like operating a ship, and how he was counting the pixels and so on and so on and so on. So a simple bot can run just simply by graphical bot, by analyzing the pixels in a specific UI elements and deciding what to do. More advanced ones are the code injection into the client, who do the things, for example, and this is scalable. Like graphical bot, you cannot scale because there is a delay of the UI changing. The bot takes a look and then he reacts. With a client injection, with a code injection into the client, it's gonna be much faster, and it's scalable. And yes, of course, they are anti-cheat solutions there. In Counter-Strike, you have the Valve anti-cheat. Then you have the Punkbuster. I think one of the old, I don't even know if it's still around there, But you cannot just simply slap a ready solution of the anti-cheating software onto Eve, because Eve is 20 years old. That is the situation we're dealing right now. But our teams, or one of the teams, is looking into possible solutions to actually see if there is a possibility. But again, in my opinion, you can have an easy anti-cheat solution. You can have an anti-cheat solution ready. There will be still those organized bot farms. There will be still somebody who will find a way to get in and do the same thing, because for them it's business.
Yep.
I don't know from which country they are, but it doesn't matter. For me, in my line of work, it doesn't matter if they're from America, if they're from Thailand, Russia, or even Iceland. It doesn't matter. The country doesn't matter. But they are doing this as a business.
Right.
They are targeting. They're targeting not companies. They're targeting the games where they can offer their services. Back in the day, World of Warcraft, for example, you would see somebody advertising in the chat like leveling services, or would advertise gold, and World of Warcraft has so many server, so many realms, right? And you would have a bot or somebody taking care of this realm, of that realm. And this is literally the same thing. We're dealing with the same guys who do this for business, who generate it, sell it. And it's one thing when it comes to botting. It's one thing. Credit card fraud is a completely another thing because you actually, well, you know, credit card fraud. It's every year it just grows, 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 and grows. And those guys are using games to launder money. You know, they buy something with a stolen credit card, and then they offer this to somebody else on this a little bit discounted price, and they get that money from those players. And then we come in and we take that currency away, and they go like, well, I just paid, that money is gone, the game currency is gone, and who benefits from that? The credit card fraudsters. So yeah.
Yeah. How do you stop that though? Like that sounds like a really hard problem to combat.
It's a very hard problem to combat, especially if you have too many transactions as a company with the stolen credit cards. You can be flagged.
You get in trouble. Yeah.
You can be, yeah, you can get in trouble. There's nobody is gonna be doing business with you anymore, right? So we monitor that, and if we see that somebody is buying with a stolen credit card, we try to refund the money as fast as possible. So two things happen when we spot it, and we do spot it through our systems. We're trying to refund it so that the money goes back to the person whose credit card was stolen. And we immediately track down the perpetrator, you know, who got the items, who got the currency. We try to catch him before he distributes it. Sometimes it's not possible. So, and we go deeper into, and we find actual players who actually bought the currency on the third-party sites. So we take it away because that particular currency was gained through illicit means in the game. And credit card fraud is a real world crime, you know. While botting sounds terrible, but compared to real world crimes, credit card fraud is. But what we're dealing when it comes to investigations, you know, because there's multiple methods in the game, how you can transfer currency, how you can transfer assets meaning ships, so on items, you know. There's multiple ways. And this is where I want to say the software that we're using. There is a software called Maltego. It's an open source intelligence software, or a software that can use open source intelligence with their information hubs, where you can investigate a person of interest, where you can do a simple thing like look up network. You know, you punch in a web address like eveonline.com, and you can take a look where the DNSs are stored, the IP addresses, and so on and so on. So this is quite crazy forensic software. I mean, it's used by multiple antivirus manufacturers for threat analysis. It's used by Interpol for cybercrime investigations, and we just simply punch the character, the ID of the character. It becomes an entity on the graph. And we start using the different transforms. Transforms is the way you pull information, and it's being displayed on a graph. So yeah, we're actually conducting cybercrime investigations in our game.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when that guy who uses stolen credit cards and he sells the items to get the currency and then transfers the currency all around, you know, we need to go and, you know, undo the damage to the economy. You know, we need to go and take it. And sometimes the investigations, like the graphs that you end up, are just super huge. Like, this is the software we're using right now, and it's freaking cool. Like,
It sounds
I try
awesome.
to use it, yeah, on a daily basis. Yeah.
I know it's not your part of the table, but I'll ask you anyway. I mean, like, just the infrastructure that you need to be able to support this universe, right? What does that even look like? Are you like the world's largest client on like Microsoft or something, or like what? How does this? How do you create this? What is an online universe like in servers? Like, how does this scale?
Well, you mentioned. Let's start by something simpler and then progress to more complicated things.
Yeah.
You mentioned 7,000 something solar systems, right?
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, not every solar system is its own dedicated server, of course, because we'll be renting like multiple data farms here. No. So we're using nodes. It's well, it's a virtual machine of a virtual machine. So you can have a server blade, right, that could host multiple nodes on it. And those multiple nodes could host multiple solar systems on it, for example, right? So you could have a node with 10 solar systems, then you have 8 of those nodes on an actual server blade, for example. And it's all connected via the database. Like, if you take a look at the log of CCP, like if you take a look and imagine a little bit, do I have one here? Yeah, I have one here. If you take a look and you make it a little bit smaller, right? And you put another layer on top of it and another layer. That is how the server infrastructure looks like. And they are all cross connected, kind of. To give you a little bit more like fun fact on this one, we have super pumped server nodes there that are reserved for fleet fights. So if you have a fleet fight coming up, we as a company, as CCP Games, are kind of responsible to try and give the best possible experience to the players who are about to start this battle. And what can you do as an alliance leader or a leader of a specific party that is about to go to war? You can request reinforcement of the specific solar system, you know? And we get that request, and it's mostly done automated, but sometimes customer support needs to actually go in and move stuff manually, move the solar systems manually. So when this happens, that particular solar system that is expected to have 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 players joining in, you know, that is then moved to a reinforced node. That is moved, it's by its own, so that our players get the most best experience that we can offer.
Because if they don't get enough hardware, I guess, for their battle, then everything slows down and ruins the experience for everybody, right?
Everything slows down. We have a system in place. The server is monitored 24/7, both by our operations team members and our customer support agents, our GMs, game masters.
Yeah. GMs, nice.
Yep.
On that note, DDoS, right? I would assume that it was one of those. It was a fun fact on the YouTube video that maybe not anymore, but back in the day they would they're okay. Big battle coming up, like you just described, right? A lot of people getting ready. Okay, Friday at 6:00, let's go. And then the other team would DDoS the other team somehow.
Before I joined CCP in 2012, 2010, let's go back in time. 13 years ago, wow. We were playing in Red Alliance, and we had those Russian-speaking communities like band together, and we were attacking a specific faction, specific alliance in the game. And when we were about to start attacking, because in the game you have also timers, there's an infrastructure coming out of the reinforcement, so it becomes interactable again, and you need to destroy it. Exactly on the dot, our TeamSpeak server went down. Okay, doesn't matter. We have a backup one. We go on the backup one, goes down. We go on the third one, goes down. We go, like the other TeamSpeak servers are run by those different alliances that we're working together. And I think all 5 TeamSpeaks just simply went down because it was a DDoS. Somebody initiated the DDoS on our communications, and it was just a mess. Like, it was a mess on the battlefield. We lost. We got heavy losses there because, yeah, without communications, nobody knows what to do. But speaking about Eve, DDoS was an issue for us a couple of years ago, but not recently. Like, not recently at all. Don't want to jinx it. Oh God, somebody gonna see it from the Not jinxing it, but I didn't see any notification about DDoS right now on us for quite a while, quite some time. We were hit with that like a long time ago. But right now, I guess everybody, again, technologies advance,
Technology advance.
Cloudflare,
Yeah.
Cloudflare,
Exactly.
and so on and so on. They know what they're doing, and we don't have our own solution, like in-house solution. We're working together with other providers regarding that. So
yeah. I guess a lot of the same problems that you have as a gaming company are other gaming companies are experiencing them. So there's companies that are helping all of you guys together to combat similar challenges.
Yeah.
So Max, last question for you then. Law enforcement, because we're talking about credit card fraud and bots. I'm not sure if bots have anything to do with law enforcement, but what are your dealings with them?
Well, like when it comes to botting or credit card fraud, we don't contact law enforcement because we don't have enough data. We don't have enough data in our systems to actually give the information to the law enforcement for them to start their own investigation. Those guys who are doing this in our game, they are not noobs. They know what they're doing. They know how to cover your track. They use the IPs that are public VPNs, and it's very difficult to actually get enough data to build a case to the law enforcement, But we do interact with the law enforcement in a different way. You know that EVE Online is like player driven. Like the players are the ones who are doing stuff. So we are protecting the players. And players are people in the end who have good times, bad times, and very hard times. And we have a procedure in place about real life threat. So, if a player is in the game chatting with his corp member or with his friend, in the chat, and he writes something like, I don't want to live anymore, I'm done with this shit, the inflation, the corona, like, I'm done, right? I would just gonna finish it all, like, I'm done. Some concerned players report this to us, to customer support, and we investigate this. We investigate the situation, like who is the player who wrote this particular disturbing message, and we collect the information and we submit it to the Icelandic police, to the Icelandic. There's a few officers who are connected to Interpol. So we get the information, we submit it to the Icelandic police, and they submit it, to the mainland of Europe, depending in which country you are, and it leads to such thing that police officers, gonna show up at the door of that particular individual, of that particular player, just to make sure he's all right. Just to make sure he's all right, Of course, in 99% cases, people who wrote those message in the game, they nothing happened to them, They just, had a shitty day, They were not willing to follow through with that. But there's 1% that actually where we actually helped by informing the police to go and check on that person. And, it went to such an extent, like I heard a story, didn't happen in my time, but I heard a story that the horse mountain police actually went to check on one individual who was somewhere like playing from a shed, they went all the way and knocked on the door, is like, are you okay? We got this report, and I know for sure this works because even in Russia, like there's another case that happened to my friend and ex-colleague. She wrote those things and that got reported. And I think at that time I was even on the duty, or I assisted somebody to actually collect the information and send it to the Icelandic police. And I was really worried, because I know this person. But everything turned out, everything's fine. She or he didn't meant it to write it, but it still caused the police to actually show up to her grandma's place. Kind of like, because the billing information and stuff that we had was actually pointing to one specific address.
Yeah.
And the police showed there, so she had to then explain to her grandma that what happened, you know. But this is our interaction with the law enforcement.
Yeah.
When it comes to interactions regarding the fraud and the botting, we're trying to take down those web pages that offer the in-game currency, that offer those bot solutions out there. We send them orders to like cease and desist. But again, they all come back. It's literally like whack-a-bot game. I don't know if you know, like
Yeah. Like your whole job sounds like whack-a-mole.
yeah. It's literally like that. You hit one and another will appear, and you hit one. Sometimes even it's dealing with a dragon, the one that you cut one head off and two will appear.
Yeah.
You know, so that is what we're dealing.
Well, Max, it
with.
sounds like you have a very eventful and fun job. And thank
It is
you
fun.
for
It is
taking
fun.
the responsibility, and thank you to CCP for going the extra mile to ensure the players' safety and their security and their fun at the end of the day. So thank you again for your time today, and
No
looking
problem.
forward to
Thank
the
you
new
for
game
having me.
that's going to be released here soon. That you
I
didn't mention.
didn't say anything.
I know.
I just simply said that there's gonna be news, you know, like, so keep an eyes open, because what we're doing here is kind of crazy, and I love my job very much, and I have sense of fulfillment, you know, to protect this environment and protect our players, and it's not exactly a cyber security thing, but I still think it's something interesting for your listeners and viewers.
And I agree. We agree. Thank you so much, Max. And we're looking forward to
Awesome.
talking to you next. Ciao.
Ciao.